Welcome aboard, everybody. Longevity Nation, world. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks for finding the time to join me this afternoon. Check out the live stream. We are streaming live. drglidden.com. Just go there. drglidden.com. You can have access to the live stream. And as a member of the live stream, you'll have access to a chat room, and you can see what like-minded individuals like yourself are up to all around the world. Lots of fun currently watching in the live stream. 21 people. Yesterday we had 65. We're looking to break records here. Not many people know about the live stream. It's a brand new thing that we have started to do. So spread the word, because what we are up to is important. And I think, I don't know if people, generally speaking, even people that are inside of longevity, have really grasped the severity and the immensity, it's a better word, the immensity of what we are up to. Through the agency of longevity, the Longevity Corporation, we are generating a grassroots coalition of the informed, people all around the world, no longer separated by race, creed, color, ethnicity, borders, all of whom have just simply become frustrated with the mediocre, dangerous, ineffective results delivered by the conventional allopathic MD pharmaceutical centrist model. Right? This is our mantra. MD-directed medicine for chronic disease does not work. The system doesn't need to be managed, massaged, tweaked, upregulated, or downregulated. It needs to be abandoned because it does not work. It's illegal for chiropractors to do open heart surgery, right? Well, it should be illegal for MDs to treat chronic disease because they are horrible at it. That is not their wheelhouse, but because they have monopolized the medical theater and because they bring to the table intellectual cowardice, fuzzy research, and quite frankly, an across-the-board inability to stand up for what's right. 500,000 people killed by Vioxx, and, what happens? Nothing happens. 500,000 people dead from one drug. You think that if that happened to my profession, right? If an herbal company or a nutritional supplement company killed 500,000 people, what do you think would happen to them? They'd be out of business. But when the pharmaceutical companies do it, they get a pass, and we all just continue to march down the road. It's nuts. It's nonsense. This is our message. Conventional medicine for chronic disease doesn't work. Your medical doctor doesn't own the theater of medicine. They don't know what's best for you. They might be the nicest human being God ever created, but they only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is just one small piece of the pie of medical science. It's really good for surgery when it's absolutely necessary, and trauma care, a handful of infectious diseases. That's where it begins, and that's where it should end. But because it's a medical monopoly, because the pharmaceutical industry runs the world, most people in the world only have access to professionally regulated MD medicine. Naturopathic medicine, my profession, is alternative, right? I don't know who came up with that term, but it wasn't me. I don't practice alternative medicine. That's like calling, a German Shepherd, that's the only real dog, and every other dog is an alternative dog. Oh, I don't think so. Naturopathic medicine is not alternative. It's holistic. I mean, you could say that Christianity is an alternative religion, or Buddhism is an alternative religion. I mean, Buddhism is the most widespread religion in the world with the greatest amount of followers, so why don't we call Judaism or Catholicism alternative religions? Well, we don't. But we're more than happy to do that when it comes to medicine. And it's an indication, or it's a way that conventional medicine makes you think that everybody but them is kind of beneath them, right? Alternative denotes something, right, superior. There's something superior that we are alternative to, inferior to. It's nonsense. Holistic medicine is a different type of medicine. And it is extremely well suited for chronic disease. But because most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopath, let alone know what it is, have no idea what naturopathy is. Most people in the United States, most people around the world, have no active understanding of what naturopathic medicine is. They maybe kind of have heard about it somewhere, right? Maybe, but they have no idea what it is. How do I know this? Because if people knew what naturopathic medicine was, we'd have 10,000 phone calls a minute. 10,000 phone calls a minute, but we don't. You know, we have more phone calls right now than we can handle. Because you can't keep the truth under a bushel for a long period of time. You can do it for a short period of time. And the pharmaceutical industry has convinced you for a short period of time in the last 80 years that they are the top dogs on campus and everybody else is a back of the bus quack. But quite frankly, when it comes to chronic disease, the therapeutic that the MD brings to the table doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And ironically, there do exist right now in real time alternatives to drugs and surgery, holistic medical therapeutic interventions, science-based, clinically verified, which are available to you right now. So if you're suffering with a chronic illness and you're frustrated with stuff that your MD has brought to bear on your situation, we have an answer. And because most of the time the body responds easily and well to the correct intervention, most of the time, there are exceptions that prove this rule, but most of the time, if you're suffering with a chronic illness, you do not need to see a physician. You do not need to get $5,000 of diagnostic discovery. You don't need it. You can do it if you want. And every once in a while, every year or two, it's not a bad idea to get some blood work done so you have an understanding of what's really going on in the body, because there are some things that can remain hidden. But most people with a chronic disease already know that they have a chronic disease, and they already know what its name is. They know that they have type 2 diabetes. Their MD told them 10 years ago. They know that they have arthritis. They already have a fake knee, and now the other knee's starting to go, and the fake knee is starting to get worse. They already know that they have insomnia or anxiety or panic attacks or heartburn or high blood pressure or fibromyalgia or Lyme's disease. They already know that they have infertility. They already know that their energy is in the crapper. So, for most people, an irony of ironies, the stuff that they need to do is easy, and it's right here in front of us. It's right here. It's right here. And this is what we bring to the table. Science-based, clinically verified foundation medical therapeutics for the masses. Because surgery is complicated and healing is easy. You don't need $5,000 of blood work. You need 90 essential nutrients. You need to stop eating food that's coming up the works, and you need to give your body the raw materials that it needs in order to support and promote its structure and function. That's all that we promote here. Oh, you have a bone and joint problem? Well, let me think about this. Oh, this is a real difficult one. Do I need to do an X-ray? Do I need to do a CT scan? Do I need to do an MRI? Do I need to do an ultrasound? Do I need to do a complicated blood analysis? Maybe I should do that. Do I need to give you prescription medication, the intention of which is not to fix the problem, but simply to overtake and overpower and exert a hostile takeover of the biochemistry of your body, upregulating certain biochemical pathways just to kind of keep running ahead of the rising tide? Is that what I should do? No. What do I do? Well, I'm a holistic physician. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician trained in the belief, the fundamental foundation belief of all holistic medical therapeutics is that the human body knows how to fix itself. The human body wants to fix itself. Now, there are limits to what the human body can do. I'm not aware of anything that can make a tooth grow back, or if you cut your finger off, heaven forbid, make the finger grow back. Don't know anything that'll do that. There is a point beyond which the body cannot recover its health, but the point beyond which the body cannot recover its health is way, 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 way out there. And for most people suffering with chronic diseases, all that you need to do in order to recover your health is support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. You need to give the body the stuff it needs to fix itself. Stop eating the food that's hurting the body. Get the hell out of the way and see what happens. You stick around with us long enough, you'll see testimonials, you'll hear testimonials, unsolicited, by the way. We don't solicit. We don't pay. We don't pay for testimonials. We don't screen any of the phone calls. I have no idea what people are going to say when they call up. No idea. So you stick around with us long enough, you will hear testimonials delivered spontaneously through the heart that will bring you to tears. Because like they said somewhere, in some book I read somewhere, my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. See, the problem is that the medical industry has been dominated and monopolized by the pharmaceutical industry for almost 100 years. So everybody is enrolled in the cultural myth that the MD is the king and everybody else is substandard, right? The MD is the king and everybody else is substandard. Most people assume that the MDs are the king because their therapeutics are better. And when in point of fact, the real reason that the MDs are the king is because of financial and political coalitions which were built between the pharmaceutical industry and the politicians at the turn of the century that everybody's forgotten about. You know, they don't teach that in school anymore. Want to read a good book about that? Rockefeller Medicine Men by E. Richard Brown. Or get a copy of my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. I like the ring of that. The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. Available on my website, drglidden.com. Click on the link, download it to your Kindle, download it to your computer right now, $9.99 via Amazon, drglidden.com. Click on the link. Knowledge is power, and the simple fact of the matter here is that we bring to the table science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's ability to fix themselves. Therapeutics that your MDs are completely unaware of, they are completely blind to. You need to know what we know, and we're offering it up here free of charge. No office call needed. No copay needed. All I need is a little bit of your time. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Stick around. Beverly from Georgia's up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Having a lively chat session here with people watching the live feed. 27 people now in the live feed. And the phones are ringing off the hook as they always do. Let's get going and go to Georgia and talk to Beverly. Hey, Bev, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Beverly? Thanks for the call. How's Georgia? Hot and humid?
Yes, it is.
I bet it is. What part of the state do you live in?
I'm in Cobb County.
Cobb County, all right.
Marietta, Georgia. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that Tornado Alley or not so much?
Not so much.
Okay, well, yeah, let's hope you never have to handle that. So, hey, thanks for the call. How can I help?
Last week we discovered, I have a daughter. She's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I found a banana-sized lump in her breast.
Yeah.
Like it's wrapped around it.
Yeah.
It's covering like 85% of it.
Yep. Has it been checked? Has it been checked? Has it been biopsied?
Not yet. I just found out, and we're going very soon to have it checked.
Okay.
She's very small.
Okay, well, it could be a million things. Well, no, it couldn't be a million things, but there's only a handful of things this could be. This could be a benign tumor. This could be a malignant tumor. This could be something called just fibrocystic breast disease, right? Usually when things are this big, in small-breasted women, it's fibrocystic breast disease, and it's not a tumor.
Okay.
But if I had to guess now, just based on the presentation, I would say that it's fibrocystic breast disease. But it has to be checked out. It has to be biopsied. They have to figure out what the heck is going on, right? Mm-hmm. Now, remember, we don't treat cancer. It's illegal. We don't treat any disease on this program. Quite frankly, what we do, excuse me for just a second. What we do is recommend people get on board with protocols that support and strengthen their body's ability to recover its structure and function. We don't make any claims. We just say, look, naturopathic doctors for thousands of years have been practicing medicine, and legally so in the United States for about the last 45 years. And that show that if you do these things will then occur. And selenium supplementation for breast health is of maximum importance. Selenium supplementation for breast health is of maximum importance. So what I would do if I were your daughter is I would go to my website, I would download the list of the 10 bad foods, and I would stop eating them immediately. I wouldn't even look at any of these 10 bad foods for the rest of my life, with special extra emphasis, in her case, on oil and fried food. Oil and fried food are big, bad voodoo daddies, especially when it comes to cancer and or fibrocystic disease. It's big, bad voodoo daddies. She must never eat anything fried again. Everybody should stop eating all fried foods, right? And in order to support and promote the structure and function of her body, the recommendation would be, what's her body weight? Probably around 115?
A little bit under 100.
Okay, so that's easy then. The recommendation would be one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquid. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 3 bottles of selenium. 3 bottles of selenium. And 3 bottles of Z, like zebra radical. 3 Z radical, 3 selenium, and 1 healthy body start pack 2.0 in the liquid form. Plus eliminate the 10 bad foods and then get the biopsy done. That's what I would do. We got to march down this road, and guaranteed. See, this is one of the problems, Beverly, because stuff like this doesn't just show up without any other things going on, right? So whenever there's tissue change of any degree, like, you have an eczematous condition, or there's a lump somewhere, or the prostate is enlarged, or there's something going on in the stomach, there are always symptoms which precede it. Always symptoms which precede it. Funky energy, funky mood, aches and pains that come and go on a regular basis, extremely painful periods, erratic periods, migraine headaches, and inability to go to sleep at night. Something's been going on for a long time, but her MDs are completely clueless about all of that, which makes it all the more frustrating. So, Beverly, if you're still listening, that was basically it. I was on a little rant there. The recommendation for your daughter to support the structure and function of her body, 1 healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form, 3 selenium and 3 Z radical, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. And this is it, folks. We haven't been trained appropriately because the methodology that the MDs bring to the table is old-fashioned, outdated, archaic, and completely out of step with what's really going on in the human body. Nobody's trained us to pay attention to symptoms. Nobody has trained us that the presence of a symptom means that it's like the red warning light on the dashboard. You should be symptom-free marching through life. If you're not, there's something that needs to be addressed. You don't just ignore the check engine light, do you? Do you do that? Do you ignore the check engine light? Well, how's that working for you? If you ignore active, persistent symptoms in the human body, then you're SOL, and it's only a matter of time until those chickens come home to the roost, because that's the language of your body telling you something's up. So let's say you're smart enough to listen to that, and so you've got an active and persistent symptom, so you go to the MD, and they do $5,000 of diagnostic discovery. They can't find anything wrong. Or if they do find something wrong, their intention is not to fix it. Their intention is not to get to the root of it. Their intention is not to figure out why it's happening. Their intention is to suppress it. So what do they give? Cortisone, prednisone, anti-inflammatories, antibiotics, antihistamines, antacids, anti-something. Because it's reductionistic medicine. It's oppositionally defiant. The medicine does not intend to fix the problem. It intends to suppress the symptom. Well, then the MD runs into the back room, keeps his fingers crossed, hunkers down, and hopes that your body fixes itself. Otherwise I'm going to get sued. Oh, no, that's why they have malpractice insurance. The entire system of medicine that you pay hard-earned money in the form of medical insurance premiums that now the government mandates we have to do, and if you're in Canada, you're screwed because that's the way it's been for the last 100 years. Socialized medicine, you've got no choice. They take money right out of your paycheck before it even gets to you to give you access to MD-directed pharmaceutical medicine. Symptom-suppressive medicine. On steroids. And that pun was intended. Now remember, you're bleeding to death on the battlefield. MDs are good. You have a bullet in your arm in South Chicago, MDs are good. You're skiing up in Alberta. You break your leg, heaven forbid, MDs are good. You're T-boned at an intersection, heaven forbid, by a drunk driver and get a concussion, MDs are good. That's their wheelhouse. But for chronic disease, if you bring your body to an MD, you're an idiot. You're not, and it's only a matter of time until their therapeutics fail. I mean, look around you. Next time you go to Home Depot, next time you go to Walgreens, next time you go to a family gathering, next time you go to the July 4th barbecue or the summer get together. Just look around and see how many people are overweight, how many people are taking how many medications, how many people are sick and suffering. Everybody. Because everybody's drunk the Kool-Aid. That the MD is the king. And even though their therapeutics fail us, even though their therapeutics harm us, even though their therapeutics bankrupt us, even though their therapeutics kill us, we continue to go back to them, like lemmings, following each other over the cliff, if that even is a true thing. I doubt very much that it is. But you get the drift. It's the Matrix, folks. Wake up. I am the red pill. Cheryl from Alabama is up next. It's either Alabama or Alaska. I think it's Alabama. Hey, Cheryl, thanks for the phone call. You were live.
Hey, it's Alabama.
All right, Alabama. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Boy, was that off key.
I'm out here where nobody eats right.
Yeah, I know, right? It's scary. I mean, you can get, like, fried peanuts on the side of the road down there, man. It's bad.
How else do you cook anything?
I know, right?
It's tough. But I've got a sister that's got really, really bad carpal tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to go to the doctor, and I don't want her to. So I know you've been talking about how do you say it? Molybdenum?
Yeah, molybdenum. So, I'll do a little couple-second riff here on, carpal tunnel, and then you can just have her listen to the podcast. Will that work?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So in the anatomy of the arm and the hand, right, you've got the wrist, which is the junction between the arm and the hand. And there's a whole bunch of bones in the hand. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in this part of the body. And in order for nerves and blood vessels to get into the hand from the arm, they go through a little tunnel in the wrist. And it looks just like a tunnel anatomically, and it's called the carpal tunnel. Now, because it goes right next to the carpal bone, right? You've heard of the carpals and the metacarpal bones. Well, that's fancy schmancy doctor talk for the different names for the different bones in your hands. Well, the carpal tunnel goes right, that's why it's called the carpal tunnel. So, the carpal tunnel is like, what's it like? It's like a sheath, or it's like, it's like a tunnel. Now, but the stuff inside the tunnel is tightly packed, right? The nerves and the blood vessels in the tunnel, they're like right up against the lining of the tunnel. And if the tunnel loses nutrients, it loses lubrication. If the tunnel loses lubrication, just simple motion of the wrist will cause friction. And you know what happens when you buy a new pair of shoes and you put them on and they're too stiff and they're not flexible enough, and you walk around, the skin on your foot that's rubbing up against the shoe gets frictioned, and then you get a blister, right? Well, the same thing happens inside. So carpal tunnel syndrome is kind of like a blister inside the carpal tunnel. Not really, but it's inflammation happening. Why is it happening? Because you have a wrist? No. Because you have a carpal tunnel? No. Because the carpal tunnel in this case has run out of the nutrients that it needs, and it's gotten dried out. It's lost its lubrication. Now, when you go to an MD, they will slit your wrist, open it up, look at the carpal tunnel, and what they see is a lot of scar tissue. Well, what caused the scar tissue to be there in the first place? The MD doesn't care. The MD never asks that question. So the MD's job with carpal tunnel surgery is to scrape away the scar tissue, close everything up, and hope it doesn't happen again. How successful do you think that is? Not very. I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I don't know very many people who have carpal tunnel syndrome and 2 years later they're happy and they're healthy. Because the surgical procedure doesn't get to the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is inflammation. It's chronic inflammation in the carpal tunnel that causes the production of scar tissue. Scar tissue doesn't just happen, it follows on the backs of inflammation. Which, you know, begs the question, what the hell causes the inflammation? The MDs don't give a crap. They don't care. They do not care. They're just going to cut you open and then cut you open a year later and just keep cutting you open until they can't do it anymore. Then they'll cut your hand off. That's their solution. Oh, wait for the next bionic hand. That's what we'll do. We're going to have a good deal on bionic hands in 5 years. I read that in Scientific American. Ooh, just wait. Just like Luke Skywalker. We'll all have bionic hands. Won't that be great? So, avoid the knife. This is not a medical emergency. My recommendation, avoid the knife unless you're bleeding to death. And, you know, not only because the surgical procedure does not get to the root cause of the illness, but the surgical procedure also opens you up to antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is a big, bad voodoo daddy in the world now. And you know where antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections come from? Surgical procedures in hospitals. I mean, even just going in for normal stuff, you get an antibiotic-resistant bacterial infection, you're SOL. And by the way, the MDs get a pass on that one, too. Can you imagine what would happen if somebody got a MRSA infection at a chiropractor's office? You think the chiropractor would get a pass? No. Chiropractor would be out on a rail. Naturopath would be out on a rail, but MD-directed medicine is why people get antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections and nothing happens to the MD. Nothing happens to the MD. And, you know, apparently we're all okay with this culturally. So our recommendation when you are up against any inflammation anywhere in the body is stop eating food that creates inflammation in the body, number one. Those foods, most of those foods can be found in the 10 bad food list. So number one, please have your sister stop eating the 10 bad foods. Number two, have her take into her body nutrients that the carpal tunnel needs to be lubricated, healthy, and strong. The main nutrient necessary here is a trace mineral called molybdenum. molybdeneum, molybdenum. Say that 10 times fast. You can secure that in 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's my recommendation to support and promote a healthy carpal tunnel is 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. You may also want to get an extra bottle of plant-derived minerals, put it into a spray bottle, and 3-4 times a day spray the plant-derived minerals right onto the wrist, and then rub it in so it soaks in through the skin. Plant-derived minerals, not the cherry mints, the plant-derived minerals right on the wrist, and so it soaks through the skin into the hand. Now, guaranteed, if she or anybody else in the world has nutrient deficiency so bad that it's driving a chronic inflammatory process that now is so bad that they're thinking surgery, guaranteed she's got other symptoms that she's just gotten used to because the MDs don't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to pathophysiology. They do not. So guaranteed, she's got chronic heartburn, she's got bad menstrual cramps, she's got insomnia, she's got chronic low back pain, she's got ringing in the ears, she's got inability to sleep at night, she's 75 pounds overweight. What something is going on with her and has been going on for a long time. And she's gotten used to it. She thinks that's just life. She's become the patron saint of mediocrity like everybody else in the world. And it's not her fault. It's her medical doctor's fault. Quite frankly, it's the pharmaceutical industry's fault. It's got to be somebody's fault. Got to be somebody's fault. World War II, that was somebody's fault, right? Was that somebody's fault? 9/11, that was somebody's fault, right? Do you think it was the hijackers' fault? I don't think so. I think it was an inside job, but that's a whole nother conversation, isn't it? Doesn't matter. Somebody's got to be at fault. Why don't we hold MD's feet to the fire when they fail us? Why don't we do that? You know, politically. Because we've got our heads up. I don't know why we don't do that. But anyway, that's the situation here. And, you know, because it's, and I've only got 30 seconds left, I apologize. Because this is a non-life-threatening thing, my recommendation is give our way a try for 90 days, 3 months. 3 months. See how she feels. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. And proof of the pudding's in the eating. That's what I'd have her do. I appreciate your phone call. Hope that answered your question. Stick around, folks. More to come. Welcome back. Finishing up the first hour here. Appreciate your patience. I've been a little on a tear in this first hour. I think I need to stop drinking caffeine before the show. Let's go to Ingrid, perhaps, in Florida. Is it Ingrid? Did we get that right or wrong?
No, you got it right. I'm here.
Okay, Ingrid, thanks for your patience and your call. How can I help?
Well, I have had, since the beginning of the year, I've been very healthy all my years, and I'm an older person, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks with sciatica pain, like shooting pains in my back, and then took, I went to the urgent care, had cortisone shots. This is not a good thing, I'm finding out. And then I hadn't taken any medication for many years, okay? So they gave me medicine, they gave me anti-inflammatory and a muscle relaxer. And I took that till February, and I stopped taking it, had horrible side effects, had one leg was getting wider from inflammation, the knee has been hot, the ability to walk has been hampered.
Great.
Horrible thing.
Well, don't you just love conventional medicine?
Oh, I want to stay away from it. I mean, I was
I know.
I already didn't want to take any medicine, you know, but I was in such horrific pain that
Well, no, I get it. But, right, this is the thing, right? I mean, how old are you?
66.
Yeah, and you've been paying medical insurance premiums your whole life, hoping against hope you don't ever need it, but, it's a hedge against, maybe I'm going to need it. So now you do need it. And look what it's gotten you. Nothing. They have nothing for you. I mean, it's a shell game.
Absolutely. And I stayed away from doctors, but recently I went to a doctor and he ordered an MRI, and I'm not even so sure I want to go through that.
You shouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. It's a fool's errand.
Right.
So how did this all start?
I have no idea. How did it start? I mean,
what were the symptoms that started that first brought you there?
The very first symptoms were the very, very end of December of last year, where I had an inability to get out of bed. Like I couldn't move my legs to get out of bed. Like
your legs were paralyzed, or there was so much pain that you couldn't move them?
I was shooting pains in my back, with like shooting pains, and they were hitting my legs as well.
All right. Have you been to a chiropractor?
No, but I want to. I think that's
all right. How much do you weigh?
I lost a lot of weight from 137 in the beginning of the year to 100.
All right. So here's what I would do for 90 days, okay? And starting on week 5, week 5, I would find a chiropractor and, have to tell them your history. It sounds to me like you either have a chronic muscle spasticity going on, which is gripping the sciatic nerve as it goes down into your leg, causing the shooting pain. It's also possible
I'm trying to take notes. Can you go a little slower? I'm sorry. It's going over my head. I don't want it to go over my head. It's very valuable to me. Okay. You said,
well, you can always listen to, I will, and just FYI, this show is podcast for 24 hours after it airs, so you can go back and listen to the recording to your heart's content. Okay, so
okay.
The recommendation here would be every month for 3 months in a row, I would get one Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0.
Okay, Tangerine.
Yep.
Okay.
2.0 to make sure it's 2.0.
Okay.
I would get one bottle of EFA Plus, like Edward Francis Albert Plus, one bottle of EFA Plus.
Okay.
One bottle.
Is that the thing with the fish oil?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
One bottle of Cal Toddy, that's CAL, like calcium, Cal Toddy. Actually, I get 2 bottles of Cal Toddy. 2 bottles of Cal Toddy.
Okay.
Right? 2 bottles of Cal Toddy. And 2 bottles of liquid Glucogel Plus. Liquid Glucogel Plus.
Oh, liquid Glucogel.
Yep. Plus eliminate the 10 bad foods.
Okay.
Now, how'd you hear about us?
Well, I heard about you through Benny Hinn, and I saw Joel Wallach on Benny Hinn.
Okay, so have you already ordered the products?
I already started ordering the products, but I just found out yesterday about you, and I also found out that I've been eating a lot of nuts, and eating nuts with the minerals is not a good thing. So
I know, right?
Why it didn't work, I don't know.
Well, plus the other 10 bad foods that we have to really stay away from: wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Okay.
Yeah,
I want you to do this diligently. Now listen, do this diligently for 21 days, and then call me back. Call me back in the beginning of the 4th week and give me a report, and I'll bring you up to speed with what, if anything, you need to do next. Give the body what it needs. Stop eating stuff that's gumming up the works. Get out of the way and let your God-given ability, your body's God-given ability to fix itself, give it a chance. I think you're going to love how you feel, and I appreciate your call. Thanks very much, Ingrid. More to come in hour 2, folks, and check out the live stream at drglidden.com.